The legal definition of rape: the forcible act of sexual intercourse on the body of a woman or man. Brown-Miller's preferred definition from a woman's perspective is that rape is a sexual invasion of the body by force, an incursion into the private, personal inner space without consent, in short, an internal assault from one of the several avenues, and by one of the several methods, constitutes a deliberate violation of emotional, physical, and rational integrity, and is a hostile, degrading act of violence. These definitions appear to encompass the whole scope of rape, as well as other forms of sexual abuse, misuse, and harassment. Defining date and acquaintance rape. Definition: non-consensual sexual intercourse by a friend or acquaintance. Two important points about this definition. Non-consensual. It is without agreement. Force is not necessarily involved. If someone is unable to give consent or does not agree to have sexual intercourse, it is considered rape. Norris and Cubbins found that 3/4 of acquaintance rapes involved drinking, and that if both members of a dating couple had been consuming alcohol, the rape was not judged as severely as when only the woman had been drinking. In the latter case, the man was likely to be viewed as taking advantage of a vulnerable woman. Social cultural factors. The notion of male supremacy has its roots deep in our cultural history, which has always equated the property rights of men with access to and control over the bodies of women, children, and others who are perceived as dependents. Indeed, some describe rape and sexual assault as one of several threats widely used to ensure the continued domination and control of women. Barron and Strauss characterize rape as a social phenomenon and theorize 4 different causes. Gender inequality. Gender inequality refers to the economic, political, and legal status of women in comparison to men. Pornography. Pornography reduces women to sex objects, promotes male dominance, and encourages or condones sexual violence against women. Social disorganization. Social disorganization erodes social control and constraints and undermines freedom of individual behavior and self-determination. Violence. Violence is the support the culture gives, as portrayed in the mass media, such as television programming, laws permitting corporal punishment in schools, violent sports, military exploits, and video games. Personal and psychological factors unique to men who perpetrate sexual abuse affect both their decision to assault and the way the assault is carried out. The male offender acts in a hostile, aggressive, angry, and domineering manner, lacks personal skills, may need to exercise power, may show sadistic patterns, sees women as primarily sexual objects, holds stereotypical and rigid views of male and female roles, with hyper-masculine self-views that validate he is a real man, harbors chronic feelings of anger, hostility, and fear toward women, and seeks to control them by his sexual conquests. Myths about rape. Rape is just rough sex. Women cry rape to gain revenge. Rape is motivated by lust. Rapists are weird, psychotic loners. Victims or survivors of rape provoked the rape or wanted to be raped, so no harm was done. Only bad women are raped. Real rapes happen only in bad parts of town, at night, in abandoned buildings, or in lonely fields by strangers who have knives or guns and who engage in brutally beating the victims when they resist heroically, even unto death. If the woman doesn't resist, she must have wanted it. The vast majority of crime survey reports children under the age of 12 who are sexually abused is not reported. Yet we certainly see many of those children turnstiling through local child protection centers. It has been estimated that 50 to 90% of all rapes or attempted rapes go unreported. Most instances of incest and molestation are never reported. Date rapes and even stranger rapes are not reported out of shame, guilt, and cultural taboos, and very real fear of secondary victimization at the hands of medical and legal authorities. Only 1 in 9 rapes is actually reported. Aftermath of sexual assault. The impact stage occurs during the assault and for approximately 2 weeks following it. During this time, emotions, thoughts, and behaviors may occur. The student or client may be in a state of shock. With both physical pain associated with sexual assault, stability from both physical and psychological standpoint is critical at this time. Responses that adults may have. Adults may respond by exhibiting no emotions, appearing unaffected, may feel humiliated, demeaned, and degraded, may suffer immediate physical and psychological injury as well as long-term trauma, may experience impaired sexual functioning, may blame themselves, may be fearful, may become severely depressed and suicidal, may be reluctant to discuss the assault with members of their family because of rejection and embarrassment. Responses of children and youth. Children that have been sexually assaulted may steal. They may fight, perpetrate sexual assaults on other children. They may bully other kids, vandalize property, generally direct their anger outward, engage in alcohol and drug abuse. They may have eating disorders. The following 3 months, the victim will have critical needs and supports. The victim may need continuing medical consultation. The victim may have difficulty resuming to work or school. Needs to have people reach out to him or her. Needs acceptance and support from family and friends. May experience flashbacks, phobias, denial, and disbelief. Group counseling such as support groups. One-on-one counseling. Psychological trauma, depression, anxiety, and trouble sleeping, low self-esteem, damaged goods syndrome, disassociation from feelings, social disassociation, relationship problems such as the inability to trust, poor social skills, or a reluctance to disclose details about themselves, parenting problems such as fear of being a bad parent or fear of abusing the child or being overprotective. Date rape risks. Date rape survivors in college have been found to be more likely to have experienced stress, maltreatment, and negative home environment neglect during childhood than women who reported no date rape experience. While all survivors react differently, there are 3 main symptoms of PTSD. Re-experiencing. Feeling like you are reliving the event through flashbacks, dreams, or intrusive thoughts. Avoidance. Intentionally or subconsciously changing your behavior to avoid scenarios associated with the event or losing interest in activities you used to enjoy. Hyperarousal. Feeling on edge all of the time. Having difficulty sleeping, being easily startled, or prone to certain outbursts. "15 out of 16 rapists will see no time in jail for their actions." average of 293,066 victims of rape and sexual assault each year. There are 31,536,000 seconds per year. If we divide those numbers, they yield one sexual assault every 107. 12.3% female rape victims and 27.8% of male rape victims were first raped when they were age 10 or younger. Adults. In a nationally representative survey of adults, nearly 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men reported experiencing rape at some time in their lives. Approximately 1 in 20 women and men experienced sexual violence other than rape. In the 12 months prior to the survey, 4.8% of men reported they were made to penetrate someone else at some point in their lives. 13% of women and 6% of men reported they experienced sexual coercion at some time in their lives. In a nationally representative survey of adults, 37.4% of female rape victims were first raped between ages of 18 to 24. In a study of undergraduate women, 19% experienced attempted or completed sexual assault since entering college. In 1 year, 300,000 college women, over 5% of women enrolled in colleges and universities, experienced rape. This does not include other forms of sexual assault. Effects of rape. Victims of sexual assault are 3 times more likely to suffer from depression, 6 times more likely to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, 13 times more likely to abuse alcohol, 26 times more likely to abuse drugs, 4 times more likely to contemplate suicide. Positive outcomes and solutions include prevention programs such as Safe Dates, designed to prevent the initiation of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse in adolescent dating relationships. This program is intended for male and female 8th and 9th grade students. Shifting Boundaries, designed to reduce the incidence and prevalence of dating violence and sexual harassment among adolescents, intended for male and female middle school students. Coaching Boys into Men is a dating violence prevention program that uses relationships between high school student athletes and their coaches to change social norms and behaviors. Bringing in the Bystander is a bystander education and training program designed for male and female college students. The program aims to engage participants as potential witnesses to violence rather than perpetrators or victims. What to do if I've been sexually assaulted? There are important steps to take right away after an assault. Get away from the attacker. Call 911. Call a friend or family member. You can also call a crisis center. Feelings of shame, guilt, fear, and shock are normal. Do not wash, comb, or clean any part of your body. Do not change clothes if possible. Go to the nearest hospital emergency room as soon as possible. How can I lower my risk of sexual assault? There are a few things you can do to reduce your chances of being sexually assaulted. Be aware of your surroundings. Walk with confidence. Know your limits when it comes to alcohol. Be assertive. Trust your instincts. If you feel uncomfortable in your surroundings, leave. Don't prop open self-locking doors. Lock your door and your windows even if you leave for just a few minutes. Watch your keys. Don't lend them. Don't leave them. Don't lose them. Watch out for unwanted visitors. Be wary of isolated spots. Avoid walking or jogging alone. Vary your route. Stay in well-traveled, well-lit areas.